All right. We are live. We are live on YouTube and on Twitter today to discuss Bitcoin Beach Grant number 1. And this today is what we're hosting is the workshop number 1 for a series of 3. And yeah, really excited for it. So we have a really good lineup. We have from Bitcoin Beach, Roman is going to be joining us to talk a bit about that. We also have some really interesting speakers to talk about basically tools for circular economies. So before we get into that, I'm going to quickly tell you a little bit about what we're doing. Like, what is this Bitcoin Beach grant and how to apply for it. It'll be probably around 15-20 minutes, and then in around 25 minutes we'll get started with Roman, or even earlier if he's available, and we can talk a little bit about the origins of Bitcoin Beach, the success stories. So if you guys can go over to Twitter, and on the Geyser account you'll be able to see the live stream. I'm gonna actually drop it in the chat here. Feel free to retweet it, feel free to reshare it, help to spread the word about the grant and then the workshop. But also you'll be able to see the live stream happening directly on the grant page, which is pretty cool. So let's get started. I'm going to share screen and talk a little bit about the grant itself, and I think this is something that Roman can and also Scott can deep dive a little bit more later as well. I'll give them the mic, but just to kind of give you an initial picture, I'll just be looking through. Okay, so here we are. This is the meta view. So this is the live stream happening as we go now. So basically, Bitcoin Beach Grants is hopefully one of many upcoming grants focused on supporting Bitcoin circular economies, and it's happening in partnership with a Federation of Bitcoin Circular Economies, a great new initiative that helps organize Bitcoin circular economies and help them flourish. And then obviously Geyser. Geyser is, as you guys all know, a crowdfunding platform that helps initiatives around the world fundraise, either through their community or through grants. And with grants, we partner with great initiatives and funds like Bitcoin Beach to help you kickstart your ideas, so help nourish and fertilize your soil, really. And I think the big heroes of this are Bitcoin Beach, in terms of coming up with the idea, and then now providing a lot of the funds to support upcoming Bitcoin circular economies. So let's talk a little bit about why were we doing this. So basically, grants are a really powerful way to funnel fertile soil into grassroots initiatives, but funds also are not enough. There's a lot of knowledge, a lot of learnings that can be passed down, a lot of mistakes that have been learned through the hard way that can be imparted to a new project. So this is what the grant aims to do. It's really all about increasing Bitcoin education, helping understanding how merchant adoption is important, and really developing the community initiative around circular economies. And circular economies are an incredibly powerful way to kind of make Bitcoin resilient at the most local way possible. And I will not, go too in depth here. I know Roman will be going in much more depth here, but really just suffices to say this grant is focused on purely enabling circular economies working with Bitcoin. Let me just also talk a little bit about how it works, so that we get our expectations straight. This is still a small grant. We have 0.5 Bitcoin allocated, that has been allocated by Bitcoin Beach. We hope to give out 2 grants of 5 million sats, 10 grants of 2 million sats, and 10 grants of 1 million sat, and then an additional 10 million sats will be distributed based on the panel, what they decide. The evaluation will be entirely determined by the board members, and the board members are as follows: Mike Peterson, Roman, Scott Wolf, Fernando, Brad Mills, John Dennehy, Andrew Begin, and Herman. So these are the board members that will be evaluating your applications, and the applications will be happening through Geyser, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a second. Yeah, so let's get into it actually. So as we discussed today, the workshop is me talking about how to apply. Then it's Mike, which is actually been taken over by Roman, talking about the genesis story of Bitcoin Beach. And then we'll talk about tools, like what tools can empower Bitcoin circular economies. We'll have Rudy and Andrew from Blink. We'll have Fernando from Bitcoinize, and then we'll also have Nathan talking about BTC Map. So all really, really powerful tool that can help really enable and simplify the process of creating your circular economy. So then the question is really, how do you apply, and where does Geyser fit in? So Geyser wants to make it really just like a lot easier for you to have a project where you can get donations from your community, from the broader Bitcoin community, and also from grants like what we're doing now. So the project is really a really good way to tell your story. It's a really good way to tell in depth what your project is about. What are your aims? You can sell merch, right? You can tell your story through entries, and we have more and more features coming up that can really help you be transparent about the state of your project and help your project be successful into the future. So there are a lot of projects in here. Maybe I'll just take a look at a few of them just to show you what it's like. So this is a project based in Japan, and they're all about making Bitcoin and Nostr easy to access. As you can see here, they received $700, and it might not seem like a lot, but it's enough to get started for these early projects. You can see who's funded them, right? The leaderboard, and I think they've won a grant previously. That's why Geyser is on here. You can see the individual comments. So again, it's making it participatory, making it fun, making it social, and helping to create a community of fans behind a project. You can also write these entries that kind of really help to update on the status of your project, and will going to be critical for the board members that will be evaluating your project to see what you're doing. So entries are going to be a very powerful way for you to update the status of your project, and also really highlight what you're planning to do with the funds, and also what you've done with the funds in the past. If you've won a grant in the past, make sure to update and show the proof of work and show the impact that you've had. So these are all really, really important features. Again, we saw entries, we've seen the project description is really important. And let's see if we can see some other projects and what they're doing. For example, I think we have Bitcoin School in Argentina. Let's see. Again, they have a story. Make sure it's compelling. Make sure it's descriptive. Provide as much detail as possible. Provide the proof of work. Connect an account that is connected with Twitter or Nostr, or connected to your real identity, so that we know when looking at your profile that you are legit, that you are the person you're claiming to be. So in this case, the person applied with connected their GitHub account. And while this is okay, it's also, you can connect multiple accounts. So let me show you how to do that. So I can go to my profile, and I can see here that I have my Twitter, my Facebook, and I can connect other accounts. And this helps me to really show my social credibility, right? So people can go on my profile and they can see, okay, well, this is the right, oh, okay, that didn't work. That was Facebook. And people can see that this is the right MetaMask. It's not a clone, right? So let me just quickly show you, quickly how to create a project. So you can basically do it super, super easily. I'm in England, small community in England. This is the project identifier that will allow you to basically showcase in the URL and in the project lightning address, where you can receive funding directly into your own wallet. You can describe the objective, which is a short thing. You can add an image if you want, and connected is your profile email. You can then add links that help you to, again, highlight maybe your project website if there's more information people can look at. Tags, you can say this is a community, or this is an event as well. You can say, let's see if I can find Great Britain. Okay, I'll have to check where Britain is here. And then you continue, and then you can write your more complex long story, drag and drop images, etc. You can then also add a reward, and we will make suggestions of what kind of rewards you can add based on your tags. So you can give out shout outs when people fund above a certain amount. You can sell tickets if it's an event. You can also sell monster badges. So you can say, community badge, super pleb badge. You can say there's only 50 of these, and it's maybe $21, right? You can also have other types of rewards, and then you can just launch it. This will basically showcase it. You can also add images, and then you add your lightning address, and this is where you can this is really see the power of Geyser and Lightning and Bitcoin. So all the donations that you will be receiving will be passing through Geyser to be verified as valid transactions, and then sent straight into your wallet. In fact, Geyser cannot at any point control, freeze funds, or touch your money directly. The money, again, will go directly into your wallet so that you remain in control of the funds. Let's see here. This is, for example, the lightning address. I can see that I can have there's a maximum receive limit. I press continue, and then I can either launch it or save as draft. And this basically will allow me to then add more information, tell a better story directly. I can add rewards and also add milestones as well. I can sell a reward, write an entry, or add a goal. So this is really providing you the tools to make it really easy for you to launch an idea, get support from your community, earn grants, and many more types of benefits. Really creating a community around your project. So this is a bit of Geyser. Let me just quickly show you how do you actually apply for the grant. So in this case, you would go to Geyser. You can either go to grants or go to the Bitcoin Beach grants feature then here. And it's quite simple, actually. You have an apply button, and you apply with the project that you've highlighted. So you just click apply, and the project will be showcased in the pending applications. And then in the coming weeks, we'll be reviewing it and assessing, doing an initial filtering to make sure that you fit the spec. And then the board members will be doing the actual evaluation and then determining how much you will get. So that's it from me. Hopefully it all makes sense. Again, really excited for today's speakers, but also keep in mind we'll be doing one more workshop next Wednesday talking about education, the role of education and onboarding merchants. And then the subsequent Wednesday, we'll be talking about how to evaluate these projects, how to evaluate you, and then also success stories from Bitcoin Nicasse and some of the other circular economies. And also we'll be hearing from Motiv as well. So I'll stop here. I'd love to know if there's any questions. I can add you up on stage if so. But before that, also, Scott, if there's anything you want to add, it'd be great.
Sure. Thanks so much for that, Mick. Hello, everyone. My name is Scott Wolf with the Federation of Bitcoin Circular Economies, joining in this partnership campaign with Bitcoin Beach and Geyser. Really excited to be launching and to have everyone joining us here. Maybe just a couple of additional points at this early stage in the process to help everyone as you plan for applications. A quick reminder to everyone joining and watching this recording that the intention of these grants are for Bitcoin circular economies. I just want to underscore that. I know there are a lot of amazing initiatives happening out there focused specifically on education, on merchandising, on merchant onboarding and tools, etc. The focus here of this grant process and the grants here is to be bringing all of those together into a Bitcoin circular economy project. So you'll be hearing in a few minutes from Roman at Bitcoin Beach. You, I'm sure, have heard of Bitcoinize, other circular economy projects. The idea is that you are presenting a vision for how you are going to be bringing together those different pieces like meetups, education, merchant onboarding, etc., into a project where ultimately Bitcoin comes into the community and stays in the community. That it transfers from someone who's perhaps mining it, or someone who buys Bitcoin, or someone who receives a donation that goes to a local store, and that the merchant at that store spends it at another store, and so forth. So the idea is that we're focused on projects to build out that circular economy, and so components of your application that focus on meetups and education and tools for onboarding merchants and all of that are very welcome. Those are all key components of a circular economy, but we just want to underscore that the intention of this is not to fund those individual components. I'm just going to choose one. This isn't to build out your Mi Primer Bitcoin education node, for instance. This is for how you are perhaps going to do education within the context of a circular economy. So please keep that in mind when preparing your applications. The idea is we need to see from you what is the vision and the plan for the circular economy. What's the name of the local circular economy? The jurisdiction that you're working in, is it a village? Is it a town? Perhaps it's an entire region, etc. But please make that clear. What population are you planning to work with? And what's the plan and your vision for building this out? And of course it could be, and you have to start somewhere. It very might well be that, you're going to focus your efforts in the first little bit on education or meetups, etc. And so please include that as the detail. But we just need to see the package and the vision for the circular economy project. So that's something I just wanted to underscore. Another point is that Mick gave a lot of great information about how to start a project on the Geyser site, etc. We still have at least another month until the application deadline of June 19th. Please, as you go through, feel free to reach out to any of us, any of the partners in this project. And we're also intending to host a Q&A session on June 5th. So Mick mentioned the 3 workshop dates. We'll also hold a Q&A so that as you start to prepare your applications, if you have any questions, you can come and ask them. We want this to be a supported process. It's not just here's the information and go away and there's nothing in between. If you have questions about, does this fit, or if you want to be connected to another circular economy, we'll do our best to try to help facilitate some of those connections. The goal here with this is to support everyone to the extent possible and lift all, help all boats to rise. One last thing, and I'll just mention it. I'm sure Roman might have, but just in case I do, another great resource for you as you go forth are the Bitcoin Beach circular economy Twitter spaces that Bitcoin Beach has been hosting. There have been 5 of them now. So in addition to these workshops, I'd highly recommend going to the Bitcoin Beach YouTube account or Twitter account and looking up the past 5 Twitter spaces that they've been hosting. There's a lot of really, really valuable information there about experiences from some of the more established Bitcoin circular economies to date, so far in the Western Hemisphere, in Latin America. But a lot of great information in there. So take advantage of those to get ideas for your projects. And yeah, I'll be quiet now, pass it back to Mick and drop off. And looking forward to hearing from Roman.
Perfect. Yeah, I think all really great additional context. Thanks, Scott. I think without further ado, you probably get started. But actually, before that, let's see if anyone has any questions as to what we just discussed. Do you guys have any? If you have any questions, I can put you up on stage. If it has to do with what are the grants, if there's something that's not clear, if there's anything about the application that is not clear, let's take 5 minutes just to make sure that there's no additional questions, or also feel free to drop them in the private chat. Well, we have also a lot of comments. We have good morning from California. Thank you, Armand. Jim from Argentina. Bali. Wow. Bitcoin is a global phenomenon. Haiti. And then here we have our GitHub account is the best way to prove those as it proves we're part of the Mi Primer Bitcoin node community points to proof of work. Perfect. Thank you, Bitcoin Argentina. Love the thinking. That's really helpful. And obviously we have our Nigeria. So yeah, I'll stop here if there's no questions. If there are, Jim from Sardinia. I think we can safely welcome Roman on stage with those beautiful glasses, and we can start talking about around about Bitcoin Beach and the origin story. So I'll leave it up to you now, Roman. You can take the floor. You've got up to an hour if you want to. So yeah.
Thank you, Mickey. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
Yeah. Okay. Now this is super exciting. We have been looking for this moment for months. Talking with Mickey, talking with Scott about this first grand round, right? Because for us as a Bitcoin Beach, it's super exciting to see all these new projects pumping up around the world. And we feel the responsibility in some ways to support and help, right? And we have been doing this in many capacities. And we're always looking for different ways to make it more easier, right? Not easier, made it more easier for the new projects, that if they can use all our experience, time, works, that experience in person, what works, what it didn't works. And the whole purpose of this is that if there is someone there that want to start a similar Bitcoin circular economy initiative, that they don't repeat the same mistake that we did. And the whole point of this is that having a channel, having a place where we all can connecting and learning from each other, because that's the philosophy of Bitcoin, right? That is why Bitcoin is so important for everyone, for all the communities, for all the places, for all the countries. It's open source, and everything we built, or everything that everyone built in top of Bitcoin, it have to be open source and compatible with everyone else, right? So from that initiative, we always are happy to see more projects that will stand up. I want to start this. Like, a lot of people reach out to us, reach out to Mike, or reach out to me, or some of the team, and say, how you guys did, what is the secret of replicate Bitcoin Beach, And we always say there is no secret, right? There is work, there is hard work behind that. A lot of time people don't see it, but there is a mission, right? And there is a dream, and this is where I want to start, a dream. El Sonte, it's a small community. It used to be a fisherman town. Used to have a lot of fishermen, good surfing. Used to have tourism even in the back, even back in the years. Sorry, guys. Right. Even back in the years, we used to have tourism that it used to come here, like looking for a good wave to surf. And that was the tourism that we had, right? But still, the dream here in our community was for everyone that was born here was to leave the country, looking for better opportunities, looking to emigrate to the United States, to Canada, to Europe, because we didn't see the hope and we didn't see our future here. And we were thinking that this country was not providing hope and that we couldn't make our dreams here come true. And in that process, and this is another thing that a lot of people should say, like, hey, fighting for your dreams, you can do it, you can do it. But that is the easy things to say, and a lot of people say that, but the reality is that no one teaching us a way, no one give us the tools, the knowledge, the line to follow, right? And in that moment is where we start working in that dream, that if we want to make sure that our young generation, at that point we were that generation, that people started putting time in our life, people like Mike, people like Alex, or other people that moved to our community when we were kids. They put time in our life, and started teaching us a different way, a different approach to see life, right? And providing us with those tools that are simple, right? Like tools that English, computer classes, access to have quality time with people that were visiting our country, and having time with surfers that were visiting our country, having quality time that were like was really important. It was really important for our lives to have that quality time at the moment, and before I got to the white paper that I want to share with you. When we started the initiative here, it was a dream. It was that little dream that we have in our community, that it was that little dream that we have in our community, that our community will be different one day, right? But how we can make that come true, that was the question. And I remember, sorry, just give me a
Let's just give Roman a second and we can get started. All right.
Sorry, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So in that process, in that dream, that we start to see that if we're telling the people that things in a different way, we need to provide them with tools and knowledge. We need to teach them how to dream. I really believe that we all can learn how to dream. We all can learn how to have dreams, how we can sometimes our environments that we grew up, that we live, it's hard. But I really think that we all can learn how to dream and see, when a person dream have a chance, there is like a small that is open, that the can be different, right? That it doesn't matter where we come from, it doesn't matter our ability in the moment, but that we can change that. And another powerful we're learning is that sometimes we're learning for someone to come and save us, right? But we're learning that we are the change that we want to see in our community. If we want to see a change in our community, we need to change. We need to change our mindset. We need to change our way of see life. We need to change to have dreams, to have goals, and start to working on this. And having this concept of Mike teach us this concept about community. Much of the time, as a human, we're thinking in a selfish perspective that we have to be good, right? We always thinking first on us because we thinking we are the most important thing or the most important person, and in a community there is a race, there is a competition, who is better, right? I have to be good in this community. But Mike teaching us this concept that if we want to be good, we got to thinking first in our community, because if our community is good, we're going to be good because we're part of this community. And instead of closing the doors, because it used to happen also that in a lot of communities you can see that there is like a few families that are good, but they live in a cycle. They close the door to the rest of the community and they live in a bubble, right? But instead of closing that door, let's open the door and let's try to see that this concept that I want to share what I share my knowledge. I want to share like whatever I learn or whatever I'm doing and it's working for me. I want to share it with my community, because I think it came also from that limitation mindset that society sometimes put in ourselves, that there is not enough for everyone, right? So we have to thinking first on us, and we don't want to share what we know, what we understanding, what we can do with other people, because we're worried that they will copy or they will replicate or they will do. And I think that is a mistake. And if you see, one of the philosophy of Bitcoin is that, right? That there is enough for everyone. We all can be good. And Bitcoin is proof of that, that it doesn't matter if Michael Saylor have thousands of Bitcoin, but a single person, a poor person from El Salvador, from Brazil, from all over the world, it doesn't matter at what time they start to getting and understanding Bitcoin and buying Bitcoin. We all benefit from this, right? We all have access to the same asset, technology, money, etc., etc. So I think one of the most powerful is, if you want to see a change, you are the change. You got to stand up and understanding that no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to save your community. Another so in the past, there are great NGOs have social media around the world that even in El Salvador, that they used to be doing like amazing work, working with kids, working with single mom, working with families, working into community. This project came of.
Hey,
Can you
Roman,
hear me?
sorry. I can just, sorry to interrupt, but the sound is a little bit breaking up a little bit. I don't know if it's the connection or the audio jack or something like that. Just wanted to.
Can
Yeah,
you hear me now?
it's a bit better. Yeah, maybe not sure what you did, but I think it's a bit better. Yeah, it's still
Connecting my.
breaking up. It's still breaking up a
Let
little
me
bit.
see. Let me see. What can I do?
Now nothing. I think you need to unmute yourself first. It's all good. It's not a proper workshop if there's not some technical
Can you hear
issues.
me now?
Yeah, great, great, perfect.
So
Thanks, Fernando.
yeah, thank you. So we see so many organizations that came and doing an amazing work in our communities, but they came with a limitation of time. You know, they came for 6 months, 3 months, or 1 year. But what's happened after when they leave, right? You can see, and maybe this sounds more familiar with many people that have been seeing these NGOs that they do an amazing work, but when they fund their resources and their time is it's finished, they gotta leave, and all the projects dissolved, skip stopping working in the different communities, you know. And that is a problem, you know. And the problem is that these NGOs or this project never investing in the leaders that are from those communities. And that's why our model and our project, our Bitcoin Beach initiative is based on we need to empowerment the leaders. We need to empowerment the leaders who are gonna run the projects, the local leaders that are there, that are from those communities. And of course it's a mix, right? Expats and leaders. But when that combination came, that is a more, I would say, there is more chance that that project will be a successful project because it have the component that someone that is from that community and someone that have the expertise maybe from outside, you know, more professionalism, more knowledge, and it's a good mix, right? So that is where we have been focused as a Bitcoin Beach: empowerment, investing resources, time on leaders from different projects here in El Salvador and leaders from different Bitcoin circle economies around the world, right? And we find until now that this is the key. The leaders are, if a great leader stand up and say, hey, I'm going to be the next leader, that I'm going to create this project, and it can be whatever, right? We're talking here about Bitcoin circle economies, but it can be anything. So I think that is a question for everyone that is applying for these grants, is asking the question: if you are that leader, if you feel that responsibility, if you have that dream that you want to make your community a better place, and when that dream came to your mind, I think it's beautiful because it can be, in the beginning it can be a personal dream, but after that it become a collective dream, you know. And I see more Bitcoin as a collective dream, right? That you have the idea, you have the dream, but more people will come and join and helping, and you will be surprised how many people are ready to help and support. But it requires someone that took the first step forward, right? The first step into and say, this is what we're gonna do, you know, and more people will follow and will join and will support, you know. So that was our dream, you know, that was our little dream, right? How we can change our community, how we can empowerment our community, how we can provide our young generation with those tools and knowledge to that they can stop dreaming to leave the country, just looking for better opportunities, and start dreaming here. And I think El Salvador is in a unique situation, right? Because the country have been changing forever. The president is a great leader, have been doing the right things for the people. And El Salvador is that country now that is providing that hope and freedom, and that it's making so many people dreaming again to the future here, to see life here, to see our country changing. And I think our country have been changing forever, and we go now in this direction that we should go, as a better future, and it's so beautiful that we are here in Bitcoin country, the first Bitcoin country, and that was a dream that many people have around the world, right? A lot of Bitcoiners were dreaming that one day it will be the first Bitcoin country, and we're here in El Salvador, and this is Bitcoin country. And the whole thing of Bitcoin started as a small dream in one small community. So my message today for everyone that is have this idea of start a Bitcoin circular economy or a social project is don't underestimate the powerful of small ideas sometimes. All big ideas start with the small ideas, and have the powerful of becoming something bigger and inspire more communities, inspire more countries. And as I always say, El Sonte proven words that one community can change using the technology, using Bitcoin, using the tools that are open source that exist for everyone. And this community have been changing. And now El Salvador will prove and show that one country can change using the tools, using the research, using technology, and as Bitcoin Beach have been inspired many other communities around the world, I think El Salvador will inspire more countries around the world to follow what El Salvador is doing, and this is beautiful, right? Because El Salvador is the smaller country in America, and El Salvador is leading the way in this new financial revolution that we're living, right? That probably we don't see it like this now, but history will tell us, passing the years, that this is what we're living now, and this is so exciting to live in this moment where many things are changing, and seeing all this excitement, and seeing that there are great leaders that want to fighting for their communities, that they want to replicate what happening here in Bitcoin Beach, that they are probably more have more knowledge of people that came for a background, a tech background, that me and Mike and the team, we don't came from a tech background, and we did. And the message that we always say is like, if we were able to do, you can do it, guys. So really, we're really exciting to be here today, and that we're doing this with Geyser and with the Federation of Bitcoin Circular Economy that we're putting together with Scott and the rest of the team to support the new initiative, and tell you that you're not alone, right? We're here. We want to support. We want to be helpful for your process of creating this project that will benefit and will help many humans in different parts of the world, and in different communities. And the most powerful thing is that before, it was hard. If you want to start a social initiative, if you want to start like working in a community, because it didn't exist, right? Like tools like Geyser, it didn't exist like project like Bitcoin Beach. It didn't exist like project like the federation. It didn't exist like project like my first Bitcoin. It didn't exist project like Plan B, education. You know that all these projects are focused on and different areas, but all these projects have the same goal, that is supporting, making easier, bringing all these tools together for the next generation, for the next project, that they can find everything in one place. And I'm super excited about this, because I think we're gonna see result, like big result from this, because sometime uh, you don't know what you are capable on to do until you do it. You don't know what you can do until you do it. And these ideas are gonna be great, and I'm super excited for this. So I have here that I want to share, like uh, after the successful of Bitcoin Beach and Bitcoin become a legal tender here in El Salvador, a lot of people were asking, like, did you guys have something to read? How you guys did? And we working in something that we call the Bitcoin Beach white paper. That is basically is a guideline to follow that can be applied to any reality, any community, any country, that have the basic, some concept that will helping you to model your project and have a better idea of what is a Bitcoin circular economy, where you can focus, have some ideas from the white paper, and see how that applies to your own reality and in your own community. So I'm going to try here to share.
Yeah, so Roman, you should be able to see a present button at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
And that, and then I'll be able to pull it up in a presentation mode whenever you're ready.
Hmm? Okay, let me. Okay.
Meanwhile, we have people from Haiti joining in. We have Bitcoin Republic, I think, in El Salvador. Got Jan Cotas in Paraguay. And there's also a question here. Although my project is to educate, the rewards I offer part of circular economies. I pay BTC to the manufacturer of my jersey, he pays BTC to the operators, and I get BTC from my sponsors. Well, that is great and sounds like an initial first step to creating a circular economy in Bitcoin. So definitely worth applying to the grant, and then let's see what the board members see and decide. All right. Any questions so far? I think even if you can comment from Twitter or from YouTube, we can see the comments here and pull them up. Feel free to ask away. We can have some question for Roman as well. I think we actually had one here from Geyser. When is party to launch Bitcoin Beach? Maybe we can have him answer this question as soon as he's back. We then have Arnold from Twitter. Yeah, bullish on real Bitcoin adoption. Absolutely, very bullish. It's happening, and we just have to. It's gonna happen. We just have to throw a little bit more gasoline into the system and just help it pick up more fire, and help people learn that Bitcoin is saving technology, but also money. Right? I think that's what Bitcoin Beach is all about.
Hey, Mick, while we're waiting for Roman to come back, maybe if I could address the question, I think it was a question from Bitcoin Republic about the
Mhm.
fact that they're
Yeah.
participating in sort of a smaller circular economy or a circular exchange, which is really critical. Like I think as you pointed out, that seems to be sort of the kernel for the development of a circular economy. I think what we're aiming for with these grants is really that we're looking at a something of a jurisdictional approach or a regional approach to building out a circular economy. So it sounds like the relationship here is one where we have three or four parties participating in the circular exchange of Bitcoin for merchandise, rewards, etc., back and forth. I mean, that circularity is really, really important. My question would be, where is that taking place? Is that taking place within a particular town? Is that taking place, at a country level? So maybe, and I'm not just addressing this particular example, but maybe this is something for anyone looking to apply should think through is so what's the context in which this is happening? Is there another circular economy? Are there other pieces of circular exchange that are happening? Then maybe think about, okay, well, there are two or three examples locally where we're having circular exchange. Maybe we should come together and put together an application for our town that we feel like we want to become, Bitcoin Village for our community, and we're going to be starting with these examples of how we're participating in a circular exchange of Bitcoin, and we're going to put together an application that helps us to take this to the next level. Okay, so maybe thinking about not just your your business or your organization's circular exchange of Bitcoin, but like how is this then taking shape at a community level? Whether you're thinking your community is your neighborhood, your town, could be your entire province or state within a country, etc. So thinking of like geography maybe as maybe a filter for your application, that we're looking to build more and support more Bitcoin beaches, right? Which works in El Zonte in El Salvador, and has branched out to Punto Mango and helped inspire Bitcoin Berlin, which is another geographical area. Same as Bitcoin Ekasi in South Africa, for instance, which works in the Ekasi in the township there and has sort of that geographical approach to building out the circular economy. So I hope that's helpful. I don't know the particular context or circumstances for Bitcoin Republic, but I hope that's helpful in terms of thinking of if someone is participating in circular exchange of Bitcoin and interested in putting forward an application, to think about the local geography and to Roman's point, if there isn't a circular economy project like that already for your town, your village, your state, province, whatever it is, then step into that gap. This is the opportunity for you to shape that vision and become that circular economy project for that region. And you can set a big vision for it, but obviously with this grant, figure like, okay, how do you use your what you're already doing as the foundation to build from. Hope that's helpful.
Awesome, Scott. Yeah, that was awesome, and I think highlights the importance of maybe having more of these one-on-ones. Maybe we should probably think about having a Q&A even sooner, so if people do have questions like are they eligible, we can let them know right away. But yeah, great point there. The point also to highlight, the grant will have 3 tiers, right? If you're thinking big, I want to do Bitcoin Kazi, there's a big pool of funds for you there. If you have a smaller initiative, there's still potentially a place for you. And that's like what's really, really important that Scott said is show us what your plan is, right? What are you aiming to? Um, that's going to be really, really important. And how are you planning to use the funds to make this into um, a circular economy. All right, without further ado, I'll pass it over to Raman again with the presentation.
Can you, yeah. Can you see it? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we see it. Perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, this is having the guideline for a lot of the Bitcoin circular economies. It's like I say, this is just a guideline. It's not necessary because we like to be clear, like that every Bitcoin circular economy around the world is different. Every environment, every community have different challenge, different needs. So you gotta really understanding that community. But this is like a line that apply with the principal concept of how we did, right? And then you gotta get from this what you can apply to your own reality and to your own community here. So this is something that we create with it's an open source document. The idea also behind the Bitcoin Beach white paper is that more people contribute to write, because in the way that we create Bitcoin circular economies today, I'm pretty sure it's going to be different in 5 years from now. We already see different, right? When we started our Bitcoin circular economy here in Bitcoin Beach, we were doing everything in on chain. That was not lining at all at the time, and it was a challenge. We didn't have a stable SAT. We didn't have all these tools that we have now here. So I really think now it's not easier, but there are more tools that can make it the work more efficient. So this is I'm just gonna go really quickly about some of the concept, and then you can find it in our website, or if you go to the Bitcoin Beach Twitter, there is it's in GitHub too. It's open source, like I say. You can download it and read it and see if it's benefit for your project. So this is the Bitcoin Beach white paper. Let me see. Okay. Can you see? Can you see the next slide?
Yep.
Okay. So sounds good. So as I mentioned it, this is a basic underlying Bitcoin Beach like effort, right? And we call here bubbles. So the concept of bubble, and this is uh, for all of you that have been hearing the story of Bitcoin Beach. This is the first letter when Mike meet with our donor, and the donor say, okay, if we're gonna helping you with Bitcoin, if we're gonna help the project in El Salvador, send us a proposal of what you guys will do with the Bitcoin. And this was the first letter that was sending to the donor, and we're just including a little bit part of the letter because I think it's part of history. But I'm gonna leave it here that you can read it later. I'm gonna focus on the yeah. So the bubble. Let me see. The bubble have. Just let me go. Just okay. So the bubble, the Bitcoin Beach white paper have seven seven principles, right? Let's say it like this. So, and we call it here bubble. Bubble. There are seven. How you say, Nikki? I don't find the word in English like seven cases, like seven principle, like subject.
Pillars.
Yeah,
Pillars. Or,
yeah. So the first one is a definition, right? The definition of your project. It's really, really, really important, right? Like you gotta have a definition, like what is gonna be your project, right? Like a definition that is easier for people to understand, in like why you're doing this, what is behind this, what are the concept, you know. A definition, like for us, it was like, you know, the Bitcoin Beach like effort. It's like a real Bitcoin circle economy in real life, right? This is our definition, right? We want to prove that Bitcoin is, it can solve the problems that our community have here, you know, by creating the first Bitcoin circular economy, you know. And having that definition of your project, how that gonna look, is gonna be easier for more people to understand it, right? And for us, as you can, as you can, you have been hearing, like we create the definition, right, of Bitcoin circular economy. There is a, we means for that a marketplace of good and service, you know, in which merchants and consumers use Bitcoin as the medium of exchange, you know. That was our, like, this is what we're gonna create, this is our definition of our project, you know. And also having that definition that we are Bitcoin only and not crypto, right? Because in the beginning it's really easier to confuse people, and a lot of people will come to your project, ah, yeah, it's blockchain, it's crypto, no, it's Bitcoin, and we are a Bitcoin only project, you know. And having that definition strong, it will help your project, you know, that people from the beginning understanding that you're not a crypto project, that you are a Bitcoin only project, and what are the main goals that you have, you know, like a strong definition, right? Second one is the motivation. It's, you need to understanding why. What is the motivation behind why you want to create a Bitcoin circle economy, why you want to create this project in your community, right? Because it has to be clear when people come and ask, what are the right motivations, right? Behind behind the project, you know. And for us, it was the motivation, as I have been explaining and you have been hearing, right? Like we were facing like a lot of problem, a lot of lack of financial inclusion here. 90% of the people were in banks. Most of the people were dreaming to leave. Most of the people don't have hope, dreams, you know, here in our community. And so it's, I think this is really, really important from the beginning, that that motivation is, it's clear, you know, it's clear for everyone that is involved in the project why you're doing that, you know. And we have here some examples that we use, right? And also, before I go to the third, in that motivation, we define that we will work in four pillars, that uh, we see the need, and four major pillars that we will focus, right? It was a lack in education, so we start working in education, spirituality. Um, Let me see. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, so we focus on education, spirituality, recreation and technology, right? We identify that that motivation was aligned also on solvency the problems that exist, and how we're going to do it. We're going to working in these four pillars, right? Education is the key in everything. So in that sense, we start to, teaching English, teaching financial education, having a scholarship for college. The spirituality is really important, and this is something that you need to apply in different ways. Some of the project they decide to add in later or see how it's going, but I think like this is more for the perspective of we have to go inside. We need to create on. This is not just for kids, but this is for every human. That if you're good inside, you're gonna be able to do more good things for other people and find that spirituality and in the way that you feel connecting, right? And we believe in God, so we use God. We believe in God, and God is part of everything for us. But this is something that every community, every project will decide how to do it, right, and how to apply it, and everyone finds spirituality in different ways. So I live in here in that. Recreation is super important because recreation is where kids have quality times, having access to surfing. We have surfing here, so we teach surfing. We play soccer. We have quality time. We call quality time, but it's more based on sport, access to big kid playing, spending quality time with different people. With more kids. So that is it's some of the greatest moments that we remember, right? Because when kids came on Saturday to surf, and you see the parents bringing their kids to surf. Back in the years, like surfing was wasting time. That was not important that a kid spend quality time surfing, right? But in other parts, I see in Peru they use soccer. In other places they will use swimming. So this is like recreation is different for, it's going to be different for all the different projects. And then technology, right? Like technology is key, that we provide the kids, we provide the community with the tools that exist now. There are free, that doesn't cost nothing, that internet allowed us to learn many things, and there are so many great tools that if we put them together in one place, it will be a big help. For us, we have a community center here where everyone can come and learning and have access to internet, computers. And this is might be the end goals. When we started the project, we didn't have a community center, but once we had a community center, was a game changer, right? Everything changed because we have a one place in a community where people can go and look and go there and find everything they need, right? So it's a little bit of definition how we see spirituality, how we see um, education and technology. And then we have here the team. The team is super important that in this stage, having a great team, what I was talking in the beginning, that it's key, right? When you're gonna teamwork with people, you're gonna say, oh, I had this idea. Why we don't working together on this idea, right? But it has to be the a good team with the same aligned with the same focus, with the same mindset, with the same idea of solving the problems that you're seeing in your community, and that will make it easier, and then And then we go to traction. Traction is something that once you start the project, more in this stage where you're gonna be once you started, make sure to keep that traction, right? That you are constant. That you, if you're gonna start to doing a project with the kids, you do it. You know, we have a rule here that once we have surf para todos. That is one of the projects that we're running here on Saturday. Like, if it's raining, we have surfing. If it's sunny, we have surfing. You know, if it's, you know, keeping that traction to that people know that there is a Bitcoin education class on Wednesday. It's happening every Wednesday. It's happening every Wednesday. You know, make sure that keeping that rolling. You know, it's hard when you say, it's happening every Wednesday, but this week we canceled. Now make sure that once you're planning, you keep that traction, you know, moving, right? And being constant with the things that you're gonna do. And that's why sometimes it's better to start small, and then you can go and add more things along you grow your project, right? And then technology. Of course, Bitcoin is an open source protocol, so people can use whichever app they want, and you know, and savvy users certainly can, right? So technology is making sure that you choose also the right tools that exist to onboarding the community, to educate the community, and making sure also that you understanding right before you talk with other people, because that is really the key thing, right? Some people will trust you, but you're going to be able also to, you have to be able to answer all the questions that they have and be able to help them in different ways, you know, that they will ask. And it's, this is like really unique because everyone will have different questions for different things, right? For maybe for the same subject, but everyone see the things in different ways. So this is really important. And then we have here also the funding part. The funding part, it's really important, right? Like every project will need some funds, right, to start it, right? That's the base, right? You need funds, yes, but I also want to make sure that you're understanding that you don't build a project basic based on money, because it's really important also that you find people that are willing to donate time, because this concept that time is money is something that we have been applying here in Bitcoin Beach and have been working really well. Because if we will, like, if when you're going to start a project, and if you will have to pay everyone, and everyone will have to have a salary, and everyone will have to get paid for everything you do, well, it's going to be hard that your project will grow, right? So you need to find the people that are also willing to put time, that are willing to educate, that are willing to have Bitcoin adoption, that are people that probably already are in a situation that are good, you know, financially, or have other work, or that working remote and have free time that can put in the project. That is key, because not everything can be based on money, right? And I'm just touching the basic, but I really highly recommending that you go and read this, because we have here, for example, uh, some of the questions, right, that you can ask yourself before you start budgeting your project. And then we have here, oh, the last one is the marketing. So the marketing side is also important, right? It is impossible to shape the world if nobody know what you're doing, right? So you gotta make sure that people know about what you're doing. You gotta you gotta be on Twitter. We have here, like, for example, some advice for people, like that we say that, well, getting the word out, choose a good project name. That is also really important. uh, Make life easy for reporters. Once you start to having traction in your project, and the media start to coming, or someone want to write an article about your project, make it easier. Don't make it harder for them. uh, if you have the chance, go to conference, get on a podcast, go on Twitter, follow other Bitcoin circle economies, that are doing the same thing of you. Try to collaborate, but be there, talking about your project. You gotta be the number one fan. I remember when we were started Bitcoin Beach, we were talking like every day, right, about Bitcoin with everyone. This is what's happening. This is what we're doing. This is, look at this. It was a non-stop, right, thing of things, like talking, right, with politicians, with community, with media, with fathers, with the kids, with the school. So that is something that I think some people enjoy it, some people cannot enjoy it, but I think it's one of the most important thing that at least one of the team got enjoy that, right? Having relation with people, go out, talking with the people, be ready to explain, being useful. So many times I remember in the beginning, like some news came right in the moment where we have already plans for doing other things, and we gotta accommodate that, because we see that the benefit, it was important, that media was here and we're covering our project, and more people will know about what we're doing. So just being flexible in the beginning is always like good, and not making hard, or saying that, oh, you can do this, but you got to do it in my time. Sometimes we got to be more flexible on that. And so yeah, I'm going to stop here, Mickey. But I really highly recommending that you can download the Bitcoin Beach white paper, and you can read it, right, and then find whatever you feel is useful for you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can definitely hear you. I just dropped a link to Bitcoin Beach in here, so people can just go to bitcoinbeach.com, and then it'll appear on the banner at the top. Download a PDF. Awesome, man! Like this is a massive download. Amazing. Thank you so much, Roman. Thank you for going into in depth into why a Bitcoin Beach, the how of how it started, and just the overall mission of uplifting through these local community initiatives. It's awesome.
Yeah. And can I add just one thing that I didn't touch
Yeah.
it? I think I lost it, but it's really important when you started this project that you identify what are the challenge that your community, your community or your country on place that you live are facing, and how Bitcoin can fix that, how Bitcoin can be a solution that you can apply to that, right? How Bitcoin can fix that problem, and how, because it's gonna be more easier for people to connect in what, oh, Bitcoin is fixing this problem that exists here, and that can be, you're offering like coding class, and but this coding class get funded by Bitcoin, but at least people will connect in Bitcoin with that problem that exists, right, in that community. Or kids doesn't go to high school because there is not a transportation that can bring kids to finish high school, and they stay in ninth grade, right? And how you can provide that, right? How you can solve in that problem, right? And you, so just to, I think that is really important that you identify that problems in your community, and then trying to fix and add Bitcoin to that equation. And guys, this is, I'm really exciting, and as a part of the whole Bitcoin team, we're really excited for this. We're looking forward to have you in the Twitter space, or even better, come and visit once the projects are establishing, and start, like, supporting and having this relationship, and looking forward. I think we will have to take 1 year of go around, right, Mickey, and visiting all these projects.
Indeed. I mean, I'm really curious to see, and I think maybe we can open up to a few people who have questions. We still have 5 to 6 minutes. So if anyone has any question, feel free to raise your hand or just drop it as a comment, even from Twitter or from YouTube, or if you're in the backstage. Yeah,
While
so
you're waiting for
Arnold,
those, I just popped in quickly to remind everyone who's listening to the live stream on Twitter, or if you're watching this here, just a reminder that the session's being recorded. So
yeah,
if you feel like you've missed everything or taking notes and your arm is sore, don't worry. You can come back to this and watch it all again. So you'll be able to see it on the Geyser YouTube page and on the Geyser Twitter handle. The session will be shown there for
perfect.
you to come back to. Okay, I'll drop off.
Cool. Thanks, Scott. Yeah. So one question that I did have is I guess you guys have seen so much, right? You've helped to orange fill a country. You've are now seeding the development of so many other circular economies. So I guess it's a bit of a general question, but I'm curious for you, someone like you guys that have experienced so much. Where is the limit? Like, what's possible, right? Because we forget about how crazy the world is, right? Like technology now, we're all living with a supercomputer in our pockets, and technology has this incredible power of being so deflationary and just impacting lives. And it's so hard to imagine what that will be. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts of like how crazy is it gonna get, and also part of that is how big and how crazy is Bitcoin Beach gonna get as a project.
Mickey, the sky is the limit. Now, I think that is a good question, and I think is here the thing is that the same problems that we were facing or that we're facing now are the same problems that exist in many countries around the world, right? Here, the exciting thing and the beautiful thing, and why El Salvador is so important for Bitcoin and Bitcoin adoption, is if Bitcoin or Bitcoin is fixing the problems here that we were facing or that we're facing, and if it works here, it's gonna work all around the world. And I think this is what it's made it exciting, right? For us, is when you say what is the limit? Is the limit is we don't have a limit. We just can do what we can do, and Bitcoin is open source, and Bitcoin is it's a teamwork, right? That's another thing that you gotta be you gotta dreaming big. Our dream was to see more projects replicating this, and it's already happening, right? We're happy. We're happy. Our goal now is supporting this project in any capacity we can, and that more leaders understanding that they can do it. This is the message. They can do it, and for us, it's just like sharing our stories, supporting them in different capacities, showing the different ways that Bitcoin is solving the problem here. But I think um, now more communities, you're seeing Bitcoin Ekasi in South Africa, Bitcoin Brazil, Bitcoin in Brazil. There are already like 3 different Bitcoin circle economies: Peru, Costa Rica, Guatemala. Africa. How many projects are like pumping up now? And I think that is super exciting because I think that is the opportunity that we never had until now. We never had something that we really can fight the system. We didn't have a tool that we can really use to fight the system and say, hey guys, we never had access to nothing and now we have access. Bitcoin is that equal opportunity that allows everyone in the same level to have access to the same thing, right? Bitcoin is equal opportunity, not equal result, right? Because then you have like never in history, Mickey, never, someone like me, someone like, from Africa, from Brazil, from Guatemala, having access to the same thing that Michael Saylor has, right? Or that BlackRock has now. And if you see, we all have the same access to the same thing that these billionaires people are having, right? And for the first time in history, we can participate in the same thing that they're buying that they want, and I think this is huge, right? And the mission here and is why every time there are more Bitcoiners and more people that wanna put time in Bitcoin education and Bitcoin adoption is to make sure that more people get it, right? Because as you mentioned it, we're living in a crazy moment in life that everything look crazy, and Bitcoin is the only thing that is bringing more fairness, I will say, into this crazy world that we're living. And Bitcoin is the only thing that is providing that hope, because anything else outside of Bitcoin, you look crazy, right? And that is beautiful. If Bitcoin is providing that hope for us, why Bitcoin cannot provide this same hope for other people around the world, And I think that is the dream, right? And we're gonna do what we can do to help, but this is not about us. This is the beauty of Bitcoin. That is not about one project. It's not about one person. It's not about one company. Bitcoin is open source, and all the roles are important, and everyone is working for the same goal, using the same technology. And I will say it here, like as you guys, you're doing an amazing work, supporting these projects, supporting, making easy to get funding for this project, for these leaders and this community. That if Geyser didn't exist, who can have access to a GoFundMe campaign? You gotta be from the USA. You gotta have a USA account, and that already cut like how many billions of people around the world, that could not get funds. So this is the message of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is equal opportunity, and this is why it's an equal. It's a call it. I like to call it like a collective dream. Right, Bitcoin is a collective dream that will solve the problem that exists here in El Salvador, will solve the problem that exists in Africa, and then probably Bitcoin can fix the problems that exist now.
Beautifully said, man. A quote that I really like is, in Bitcoin, we're all organizations working within the same organism. Bitcoin is a sort of entity that exists in cyberspace, and we're all part of that same broader organism, although we are also differentiated and we each have our own role to play. And yeah, beautifully said, Roman, on so many wonderful points too. What I also maybe just want to highlight, and so we can get started. But what I want to highlight is the idea that Bitcoin will emerge, but just for everyone who's involved in listening here, one is thinking about, should I start a circular economy? How do I start it? Just think about the impact, right? The impact that Bitcoin Beach has had on history. It's massive, and just a few people coming together and creating this torch representing Bitcoin within their local context, with their own local community, having local impact, then has massive global implications and effects. So just think about that. You may think that you're small, you have a small reach, but actually you have your local community. Locality is so important, and just think local at global really applies very well to Bitcoin. So I think we can start transitioning to the next bit of the conversation, and well, maybe Roman, thank you so much, man. I mean, this is awesome. Do you have any final words to say? And then we probably
No,
can start going on to the next conversation.
it's just like, just also congratulations to all the people that are applying for the grants, because it take that that I think that responsibility of taking the lead on something, and being a leader. Sometimes it's not easier, right? But we need more leaders. The world need more leaders, and I think it's good to see that there are so many people ready to do whatever it have to be to provide more value and more access. And I'm just excited to see all these projects, what's going to be. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Roman. Really, really appreciate this really good talk. There's so much content. I'm sure we're gonna be able to use it and reuse it and share this great wisdom with more people. So, all right, perfect. We'll then go on a quick 5-minute break, quick pause as we get set up for the next call. And again, thanks, Roman.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll keep it at that for now. Yeah, so we already have a few people. I'm just gonna put us on pause for a second. We'll be back in 2 to 5 minutes. Thank you all. All right. So I think everyone's almost here. There we go. We've got Nathan Day from BTC Maps. We've got Andrew and Rudy from Blink, and Fernando should be coming up in a few minutes. So we can probably get started. I'll invite you guys up and quick intro from everyone, and then each person will have 15 minutes, 20 minutes to kind of go through your project and how your project enables, empowers, and makes it more easy to launch your, or like enable the Bitcoin circular economy within local context. So maybe to get started, Andrew and Rudy, I'll invite you guys up. Welcome, gentlemen. Can you guys test your sound, make sure that it's working well? Yay.
Check 1, 2. Oh, check my
Perfect. Yeah,
my
beautiful.
visuals.
Whoa. Super effects, awesome. All righty then.
Nice.
So, all right. So basically, guys, let me hide the banner, and we are ready to get started on Blink. And I don't know if you guys have a presentation, or
Yeah.
you're just gonna perfect.
Yeah, Rudy's.
So
Oh, sorry.
I'll let you guys take it from here. Maybe just quick intro into yourself, and then feel free to put up the presentation, and we're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just wanted to drop in and say, hey, Roman, if you're watching from the other side of the studio, it's good to see you. And Scott, I'm Andrew, working at Galloy. We built Blink, formerly Bitcoin Beach Wallet, and I've done many a presentation, and was actually privileged to be supporting on a previous Geyser grant. And so, yeah, I wanted to come in and also, intro and shout out to Rudy, who's joined the team this past year and is doing an amazing job, and has actually lived in a circular economy and doing a great job, like leveling up the content for Bitcoin intro, Bitcoin content, and everything else. And so I just wanted to say a quick hello, but Rudy's going to do the short presentation today to give kind of a little recap of Blink and how it's helping Bitcoin circular economies. So Rudy, hand it off to you. You can do your intro, and I may fade off into the background to not take up space.
No, thank you, Andrew. Yeah, I'm Rudy. I'm marketing coordinator at Galloy, specifically focusing on Blink, and I'm also been helping Bitcoin Lake in Guatemala, circular economy. So it's really exciting to see this thing happening, and every time I hear Roman talking, it's really good insights. So yeah, I don't know if you can see my presentation now.
Let me bring it up, and you guys are off to the races. Thank you so much, Rudy and Andrew.
No, thank you guys. Great. Nice. All right, so Lightning Wallet for bottom-up adoption. As I told you before, I'm market coordinator at Galloy, and I'm also part of a circular economy team. So these type of things are getting me excited. And I think one of the first things I want to say is really important what Roman said about giving access to this asset to millions of people, right? Think maybe there was a gatekeeping thing going on before with assets, but Bitcoin really allows us to get benefits of this incredible asset. So I'm going to give a brief history of Blink. I'm going to talk about a building for bottom-up adoption. What's next? We have an interesting announcement. So and how to stay in touch with us. So brief history, for those who don't know, before being Blink, we were known as the Bitcoin Beach Wallet. And in fall of 2020, Bitcoin Beach Wallet Alpha rolls out, added selling to Bitcoin Beach. And I think it's really interesting to say this because there was a need of improving Bitcoin payments, right? Not only improving Bitcoin payments, but also a way to easy onboard people to Bitcoin without the hassle of Lightning. So we also can see that Bitcoin Beach Wallet Blink was designed with a circular economy in mind, right? Lightning for users, of course, because that's how users transact. Also for merchants, and you can see that our wallet has a lot of tools for merchants, helping them to do their work. And I'm going to deep dive in that later too. We have easy onboarding as well. And that's a really nice topic because we reduce the friction of getting into Bitcoin. And also, not only reduce the friction, but also we give incentives to people to learn about Bitcoin, for example, in our Earn section. And it's incredible to see that everything started in El Salvador, in El Sante, but now we serve global citizens, right? We not only serve El Salvador, but also circular economies all around the world, including Bitcoin Lake in Guatemala. One of the interesting things too is that we want it to be a reliable wallet, and that comes with being an open source too. I'm going to talk about that later as well. So we have this focus on making Blink the most accessible, reliable, and powerful wallet. And as you can see here, we've been like the circular economies have been growing. And this is really interesting because all of these circular economies need a tool not only for onboarding new users, but also to start the circular economy for merchants. And I think Blink has been a key player on this. So building for bottom-up adoption. Why the everyday Bitcoin wallet? I think these three topics are really interesting because we are the everyday Bitcoin wallet because we're accessible, we're reliable, and we're powerful. And I'm going to explain more of these features and topics later, but we're accessible because we work on any phone, right? With internet, we have many currencies, many languages. As I said before, we serve global citizens. We have low fees. We have, you can have the option to hold dollars in your wallet as well. We have educational onboarding with our custodial wallet. We are open source and we are powerful because we have fast and cheap payments. We have merchant tools. We have even in El Salvador, we have Blink Fiat. That's an option for buy and sell Bitcoin. We have the Blink Map to see merchants all around the world. We have the Payco. We have MPC. We're trying to make Blink as powerful as possible and useful as possible for circular economies. So this is where the interesting topics come, right? Because I think building for bottom-up adoption needs to come with features and making Bitcoin easy to use for mass adoption too. So the first feature I think is really important is the point of sale, right? Because I think it's a catalyzer for merchants. With a point of sale, merchants not only don't need to rely only on a phone because we have this point of sale that can be open in any web browser. So it's really interesting because as a merchant, maybe you don't want to leave your phone on your store, or even as an employee, you don't want to keep looking for your boss or whoever has the phone with the wallet to receive Bitcoin payments. So this point of sale is really useful, but it's complemented by multiple currencies and multiple languages, right? We serve a global audience, so we don't only focus on USD, for example, right? Not only English too, right? For example, in Guatemala, we speak Spanish. So having this type of things make Blink a good option for circular economies and for these little communities to start growing. And this also comes with these other features that also help users and onboarding and how people use Bitcoin in their daily lives, right? So we have a Bitcoin and dollar account, and this is really important too, because as I was saying before, merchants are a key part of a circular economy. And as a merchant, maybe you want to start accepting Bitcoin, but maybe your knowledge or you don't want a lot of exposure of Bitcoin because of you don't understand completely what's going on, or even because you need to pay your bills tomorrow and you don't want to rely on Bitcoin volatility. So we have this dollar account where merchants can receive their payments on dollar instead of Bitcoin. So it's a stable account, but they can still receive it on Bitcoin. And the interesting thing with the dollar account too is that they can send from the dollar account to every other Bitcoin wallet. And that's where Lightning and on-chain comes too, right? We have these two, we have the layer 1 on-chain and we have layer 2 as well. So they can transact with that. We don't only rely on Lightning because we know people also need to, for example, self-custody, right? They can send on-chain. We have the convert option as well for regular users that want to change their Bitcoin to a dollar account or from their dollar account to their Bitcoin account. And I think one of the interesting things with this too is our low fees, right? Maybe you guys know this, but for example, when you send Bitcoin from Blink to Blink is an intra-layer transaction that has no fees. So 0 fees and intra-layer transactions for Blink. And even you can send to other Lightning wallets, because this is the magic of Bitcoin, right? It's the same. It's the same layer. So you can still send to other Lightning, even on-chain wallets with Blink. And for example, with Lightning, you're only going to pay the roaming fee. And this is, I think, is really important, because it also reduces friction for new users, and even for a daily community, right? They don't want to pay a lot of fees to transact. And I think another topic that is really important for mass adoption is we call it the signage, right? Because this is really important and incredible for me, because I don't know if you go to El Sante, but if you go to El Sante, you know that there are a lot of these pay codes all around the merchants, right? And it's really incredible, because merchants don't even need a phone to start accepting Bitcoin, right? So this is, for me, is mind blowing, because you only need to set a merchant with their pay code, their QR, their Blink address, and they can start accepting Bitcoin really easily. We have the map too, right? So people can know where they can spend their Bitcoin. And this is important to people to know that we have free signage and brand assets on our website. So if you go to our website, you can find a big variety of brand assets that you can download for free: stickers, signs, whatever you can imagine is there, even t-shirts, I think. So we have this tools too for communities to start implementing their orange pilling process in their community, right? Because there is always a need to have a Bitcoin sticker to let people know that there is a Bitcoin movement, or maybe they start accepting Bitcoin. So building for bottom-up adoption, I think, goes with this 4 fundamentals that are open source, open channel for feedback, empowering communities, and product focus. Because if Bitcoin wins, we all win. So open source. This is really important, because there is no gatekeepers at Galoy, right? The Blink source code is open source. You can go and check it out. There is transparency in that process too. And I think it goes with this principle of don't trust, verified. And I think this is really important to also get credibility into the community, and also to allow people in their community in circular economies to start doing their own thing. And we can see it with the Bitcoin Jungle wallet. The Bitcoin Jungle wallet, it's a fork of the Blink open source code. So this type of things are really important for mass adoption, right? For Bitcoin adoption. And also it gives people that use Blink this tranquility of what they're using, right? Because they can verify the code. Open channel for feedback. So this is, I think, really important to people to know, is that we appreciate and encourage feedback. We want to hear you guys, like what are your pain points? What can we improve? We're continuously looking to improve and enhance the experience for all our users. And this is where it comes, where you can start submitting your feedback. You can submit your feedback on our Telegram channels. You can check our Telegram channels. They are free to join, so you can send there even your questions or feedbacks or bugs that you're finding in our wallet that we can address, or directly on GitHub. We have this section on GitHub on issues, then where you can submit a bug report, a feature request. If you don't see your issue here, you can open a blank issue. So I think this is really important for us too, because we really want to get involved with the community, see what's going on, seeing ways that we can improve. And I think one of the most important things is empowering communities. At Blink, we empower communities not only by having a great product, but also by supporting them, right? We help them with signage, we help them with meetups, we help them with their bottom-up adoption efforts. And this is important because I think that's it's giving a message also for everyone that is listening to us right now, that if you are creating a circular economy, you have your own project, and you want to have support, you can reach out to us. But this is when the things come interesting too, because we need a proof of work. We want to know what you're doing. We want to know what are your what's your mission and your vision. Understand what are your motives, and what you want to do. And I think that's related what Roman was saying at first too, right? Like Bitcoin give access to people to have like access to this incredible asset, and Blink um, allows mass adoption to these assets as well. So we want to help you guys, and we only need to know that there is a Bitcoin focus project initiative, and we can support. For example, this is an event that we had in Bitcoin Lake last year, where we were trying to promote the circular economy, and Blink was one of the sponsors. And as I was saying before, I think we're really project focused. If you build, we build. We are always looking in ways to improve your experience, not only the experience of the user, but also of non-coiners that really want to start on their Bitcoin journey. And we are building for billions, but also building to last. So being in the Bitcoin ecosystem, it also means to have a long-term mindset, and that's what we think that is going to happen with all circular economies, right? Like I think in 10 years, 5 years, we are going to see more circular economies, but also the circular economies, they are already on track. They are going to be way powerful, and Blink is going to be with them in their journey, help them to start their community or to improve the experience of their circular economy, right? So this is I think I'm almost done. So let's come and say this is really interesting. The announcement I was mentioning before, and it's the Blink voucher, right? So the Blink voucher is focused on P2P, right, for entrepreneurs, a way to get the best out of your Bitcoin, and a way to empower circular economy. So what's the Blink voucher? So the Blink voucher will allow you to buy and sell Bitcoin with just a QR. So this is going to promote entrepreneurship and the circular economy, but also it's going to help a circular economy to grow and have have more ways to use their Bitcoin, right? I think maybe some of you guys have been struggling in one of the circular economies needing cash, or someone in the circular economy wanted to buy Bitcoin. So the Blink voucher is going to give this possibility and option to people for start this this journey. And lastly, you can connect with us on blink.sb/socials, and you can connect with me on Twitter. My username is bullishguate, and I'm excited to see what's coming, and really appreciate this opportunity. Really grateful what's the Bitcoin Beach brand, I think, is going to help a lot of circular economies, empower a lot of individuals too, because as Roman was saying, we need more leaders. And I think these type of initiatives are going to give us and allow us to have more leaders as well. So thank you guys. Thank you, Mike.
Amazing, Rudy. Thank you so much for this really insightful presentation to not just the product, but how people can get involved, the ethos. Really good work. Thank you. I think we should probably, if someone has a question or two, happy to have you take it now. If not, we can move on. I think we can move on. I didn't see any questions right now. So thanks so much, Rudy. Appreciate your time. And we'll if you can still stick around, great. We might have some Q&A later. If not,
Perfect.
we can move on to
Thank you,
Nathan. Thank you so much, Rudy. Nathan, who came in. If you're available, if not, I see Fernando getting his camera ready. All right, let's then go with Fernando since the camera is up. Fernando, thank you so much for joining. You are the face behind so many different projects, especially Bitcoinize machines, and obviously Praia Bitcoin, Bitcoin Beach in Brazil. So I'll give it to you. Take us through your circular economy experience, your project, and the tools you're building to support Bitcoin circular economies. So I'll leave it to you. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mick, to having me here. It's a pleasure to participate of this grant provided by Bitcoin Beach. So just to introduce myself, I am Fernando Motulize, and Brazilian. In 2021, I started to replicate the Bitcoin Beach experiment here in Brazil, inspired in the Bitcoin Beach in El Zonte. And as Mike said one time to me, it's a marathon. I started to run this marathon and to help people understand the fundamentals of Bitcoin and use it in the daily basis. So during this marathon, I created some tools that help people to easily use Bitcoin as the Bitcoinize machine, the Android phone, prepared to enable Bitcoin payments. And also, during the process to create the machine, I helped it to to implement the bolt card. And, uh, you know, in the beginning, I was looking for guidance, for to how to build the circular economy from the scratch. And then this guidance come when the Bitcoin Beach white paper was released. So since I am following this guidance and using the Bitcoin Beach white paper as this, manual to help me guide me in the marathon, I started to get very good results. So I think that now we have a great opportunities and the tools are ready to attend the next generation of the Bitcoiners, because when I started, everything was really, in the beginning, to be able to run the things that are necessary to introduce Bitcoin in your daily basis, was necessary to run a node, to understand a lot of, maybe to have the custody of the community, to do it in the way that we did here, was necessary to build the infrastructure. And during this process of building infrastructure and understanding what Bitcoin really is, I understood that, it's important to be focused on the self custody, on some technical aspects of Bitcoin that teach lessons, that they will get that lessons and bring it to real life. So the low time preference, the fair distribution of money, the inflation, the lessons that you need to teach in order to use Bitcoin as money, as a reserve of value. It's like it needs to come from your personal motivation first. You need to see that beacon of hope that Bitcoin is to start something. So if you are looking to apply this grant, I think it's important for you to, as a person, to get this personal motivation as the main thing, because it will guide you through the marathon. And then following the Bitcoin Beat white paper, you will be able to see all things that are involved to evolve your circular economy. So during my marathon, I started to help like Bitcoin Uganda and Montanha Bitcoin in Brazil. And these two projects helped me to understand that every community is different and we need a lot of dedication to start to understand the community needs and see how we can put the Bitcoin together to use Bitcoin as a tool to socially transform the community. So what Bitcoin Beat did in El Zonte, now is spreading around the world, because those guys that was there dreaming in 2019, now there are several communities using the peaceful money, using the tools available now. So now it's very easy to create a circular economy. So last year, Ricardo from Volant went to the Bitcoin Carnival, an event that we did here, and then just with the idea to use Bitcoin as a payment method, now they have 200 merchants accepting Bitcoin as payment. And a lot of those merchants are doing self-custody, are learning about Bitcoin. So what the Bitcoin Beach, the idea to use Bitcoin as a tool, the peaceful money, it must be behind of your initiative in order to get support for the people of your community. It will help you to get the responsibility that must be for the long term. And if you do so, I ensure that a lot of people will donate to your project. We are going to unite your community and rebrand it. So try to use objectives and key results when you create a project for your community. Like in Uganda now, there's a school and the school is about to close. So the community need is to save the school. So now Brendan is helping the founder of the school to use Bitcoin as a tool and teach everyone in the community. And in solving that problem and getting the responsibility from us, we are also delivering a message that the sovereign individuals can make the difference. And emerge new circular economies, I think it's kind of how the how do I say that, is in the beginning of the nationalization of the currency, that existed some individuals that started to act as banks, and as Bitcoin Jungle said, we need 1,000 Bitcoin community banks attending 5,000 people. It's much better than one super bank, And the community bank is just a lightning service provider. So what Blink provides to your community is very nice. They have all stack needed for you to start, for you to run their software. So when you are in this space as a founder of a circular economy, you learn a lot. It's a master degree. You start to be a buyer. You start to understand about project management. IT. It requires a lot of efforts, but it can be a very small initiative, or you just need to focus on the merchant aspect. But as I am doing here, I think use Bitcoin the practical way by giving it and small amounts and trying to engage the community in social and educational activities, it is the better form to educate and widely spread. Because frequently I listened about people in my community ask, Bitcoin is a scam. It's very we cannot trust on it. But when they see real people using it as money, we clean up that bad image and we help the community to understand the nature of money. It can be used to do good things or bad things. And I hope the people applying to these grants from Bitcoin Beach that have somehow is leading this wave of hope to the entire world to structure their projects with a new mindset of a better world, with where we can include all philosophy behind Bitcoin, to not trust, verify, to build relations on honesty and with noble values. So that's it. I have no more. Do you want to make any questions, Mick?
Surprise, Fernando. It's Scott. Bom dia. I'm taking
Hello,
over from
Scott.
Mick. Mick has to leave, so I'm in charge from this point forward of running the technology in the background. I've been deputized as part of Geyser. So that was amazing, Fernando. I mean, not only are you a tremendous leader in terms of the technology and expanding adoption of the technology, but as an ambassador for Bitcoin and Bitcoin adoption. So some really powerful comments, about our purpose here. So thank you for all of those. I'm going to check in the questions to see if there's any questions for you. Feel free to type them in if you'd like. A reminder to everyone who's watching this, also that this is being recorded. The live stream will be available on the Geyser YouTube channel, as well as in the Geyser feed on X, so you can come back to this. Again, we had just put up Fernando's profile on X, so feel free, please, to reach out to him or to Praia Bitcoin on X. I'm just checking to see if there are any questions. It doesn't look like any right now, but for sure we'll be, connecting with you further as we go forward through the grant project. And this is just the beginning, isn't it? We're just getting started.
Yeah.
This first round of grants, thanks to the generous support and leadership from Bitcoin Beach, is enabling us to move forward. And I think we're going to be doing a lot more of this for many, many months and years to come. So looking forward to, maybe having another session, doing a walkthrough of Bitcoinize and BTC Pay server. And if anyone has questions for you, they can, the best thing is to reach out via X. Would that be the best way?
The X account, the Twitter account, and there's my email, bitcoinbeachbr,
Okay.
gmail.com.
Okay, I'm going to put this back up, which Mick created for us, so people can connect with you on X, and then go to email from there, if that's okay.
Yes, okay.
All right. Muito obrigado.
Obrigado a você.
Senor, and so great to see you again. And I guess we'll keep moving on with moving on to the next presentation here. Excuse me, I'm a little bit slower than Mick. I'm just learning how to work the technology here in the back. So it looks like Nathan is there. So ciao, Fernando, and see you again soon.
Bye.
Nathan, are you there? Looks like we have you.
I am, yeah. Can you see me?
We can't see you. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
It says my camera is on.
It's my first day using this tool, which I quite like, but I've been left in charge. So I don't know if I don't think there's anything else I need to do. No, there we go.
There we go. Wrong camera.
There we go.
My fault.
Beautiful. So lovely to see you again. Thanks so much for joining us today for the workshop. Really impressive. I just want to mention to everyone that it looks like we have over 800 people tuning in from around the world. And we had a quick round of people doing introductions earlier in the chat, and we've got participants tuning into the live stream today from 4 continents, multiple countries, just reinforcing how much of a beautiful global movement this is, and really excited to get started on this Bitcoin Beach grants campaign. And I'll throw it over to you, Nathan, to tell us all about BTC Map, what it is, and how it can support and compound the effects of Bitcoin circular economies. I'll bow out. Over to you.
Well, thanks, Scott. You're doing a sterling job. Thanks for handing over. And welcome, everybody. So I'm Nathan Day. I'm one of the founders of BTC Map, along with a couple of other guys. And we've been running, about 18 months now, really, in trying to provide a single place where people can go to find places where they can spend their sats. So I just wanted to give a bit of an overview about our project, and then also give you guys, as community leaders or potential future community leaders, some sort of actionable things you can do, and how you can use BTC Map to help you build your circular economies. So I've got a short presentation here, Scott. Do you need to activate that in some way?
I don't. You should see down there at the bottom of your panel, you should see a little toolbar.
Oh, here we
You'll
go.
see present.
Yeah.
So just click on that, and I'll try to arrange the format so that it gives you the best view.
Okay. Bear with me. I'll just share my screen. I was trying to upload the slides, but that's not working. Okay, is that working?
Not yet. Let's just keep trying. We'll figure this out. See, this is what Mick gets for leaving me in charge.
It's saying it's sharing.
There we go.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So just to quickly highlight the mission. So we're here to help drive merchant adoption, to enable circular economies, which is a focus of this session. And thirdly and finally, to kind of just normalize Bitcoin a little bit more. People should be talking about it. People should be asking to pay in it wherever they can. So the problem before we kind of went down the BTC Map road was that there was no single place really to find places to spend your sats. There were some existing solutions that were either proprietary, kind of ATM focused, and a lot of them had a lot of crypto around as well and weren't Bitcoin only. And I think some of the reasons that BTC Map or solutions like it didn't exist previously is that creating and maintaining these large data sets is a very difficult job, particularly if you're trying to centralize that. So the solution was BTC Map, obviously. So we wanted a Bitcoin only map without any additional noise on there. We of course wanted it to be fully open source software. But crucially, we wanted the data to be open as well. So not just the software as open source, the data contained within it is free and open source, and anyone can use that data for whatever purposes they want. And we knew that community building, or at least help building communities, was part of the solution, which is why not only on the map, and we'll get into this in a second, not only on the map do we have merchants, but we've got communities as well. And we believe it's a combination of these two final points that enable us to scale the solution, which hasn't really done before. And of course, none of that is possible without Bitcoiners actually providing the effort and the proof of work in building those communities and maintaining the data, the merchant data within those communities. So that's what we've done with BTC Map. We've leveraged OpenStreetMap. And for those not familiar with OpenStreetMap, it's kind of like the Wikipedia for maps. So it means it's a community resource. It's a commons, in effect, a data commons. And people can edit that data under the scrutiny of the community in more general. So that means that we can decentralize the work associated with maintaining the data on the map, and there's no central authority. So for those not familiar, this is the map as of a few hours ago. We can, I'll just switch to another tab here. Oh no, I won't do that because I'm showing this tab. I was going to show you the live version, but you guys can figure it out on btcmap.org. So we've got all the locations globally, and you'll see there's different pins for different merchant types. And some of those pins are a different color as well. And on the website, they kind of jiggle a little. So those are boosted merchants, where merchants or their customers have made a small donation to boost that location on the map and make it slightly more visible. So as of today, there's approaching 11,000 locations globally that we think accept Bitcoin. There will be some on there that are not up to date, and there will also be some that are not on that map as well. So we feel that's a fairly accurate figure. It's hard to be 100% precise on these things, but it's roughly right. So if you check out the dashboard, you will see that there are various other statistics that you can draw from that. I think the trend line of up-to-date locations, and by up-to-date we mean those that have been verified physically by somebody within the last 12 months. And so what we're seeing there is we've got about 7,000 merchants that have been verified. And when we started, we didn't have any that had been verified recently. So we inherited an old, stale data set that we then proceeded to cleanse throughout the past 18 months or so. So it's a good, nice, steady up and to the right trend. So I mentioned the communities are also a very important part of BTC Map. So once we got the base merchant functionality launched, we switched focus to adding these communities. And so you can see right now we've got just shy of 400 communities around the world. There's probably about 50 or so that we're in the process of verifying now in terms of new communities coming on. So we get a good spread, and what that enables us to do is push the data ownership for merchants within those areas down to those communities. So there's some really good examples. Bitcoin Berlin in El Salvador, only recently, I think about 1 year ago, started onboarding merchants, and they're now one of the top 3 merchant communities. And then others, like we have in Madeira, who've started fairly recently also, are now approaching 100 or so merchants within their communities from a standing start. So I'll show you some of those live maps once I finish the presentation, if we've got some time, because they're kind of cool to look at those and the communities associated with them. So in terms of helping your community efforts as budding community builders, then you should just head over to btcmap.org and you will see there is a ad page under areas, and the URL's on the screen there. And you can put some basic information about your community, where it is, and we will verify that. So we'll be in touch. We'll make sure that your socials are live and that you're Bitcoin only. And then once we've gone through that period of verification, then we'll add you onto the map. And so hopefully we can see your logo on this diagram from Andrew and Co at Blink and Galoy as you get added and become visible globally. So on the merchant side, we've got two main ways that you can add merchants. So there is a simple form, and this really is mainly for non-community leaders or community administrators. This is mainly for kind of end users who maybe they've orange pulled their local barber shop or something and they want to add them. But if you're part of a community and you're one of the people responsible for maintaining the merchant data, then you should be doing that directly on OpenStreetMap, because that doesn't require any input from the central BTC Map team and the volunteer taggers. And it means that you can add, remove, and change data on your own without any oversight from us. So to do that, you'll need an OpenStreetMap account, free and easy. So you can simply go to openstreetmap.com and open an account. And then you can add locations simply by adding a set number of tags to OpenStreetMap. If you go onto the webpage that's on the screen there, you'll also see a video where I walk you through this process. So you can get a handle on how to do that yourself. And then if anyone's stuck, you can always jump on our Discord and me or one of the other taggers will help you out. So just delving into the detail just for one slide here. On the left, you've got the edit pane of OpenStreetMaps. So this is just on our website. And you can see here, we've got only one required tag, which is this currency XBT equals yes. Don't get me started on the XBT. We had lots of discussions with the OpenStreetMap community on what that should be. And it's XBT because of reasons. So as long as a location has this tag on, which you can see down at the bottom here with some other currency types, then within about 10 minutes or so of adding that to OpenStreetMaps, that will appear on BTC Map. If you want to add some additional information, we have some recommended, strongly recommended tags here, which break down how you can pay in Bitcoin. So is it Lightning only, or is it on-chain only? Is it both? Do they accept contactless NFC bulk card type payments? So that's the next chunk of those. And then finally, we have the survey dates and check dates. And this is what you can use once something has been tagged and you're re-verifying that information. So verification reports come through from customers who will visit a location, and they'll often fill out the form on the website to say that they have verified that information, and that means we can update the verified or survey date tag. So this drives the recency of our data. So I think off the top of my head, our average age of verification is something like 250, perhaps around that figure, 250 days. Our aim is to get that as low as possible, obviously without having to or wanting people to re-verify locations every single day or every single week. You know, that's too fine-grained. So that's some of the detail. If you're halfway technical, it's really easy. And even for non-technical people, we say it's a really good way for people who can't code to get involved with an open source Bitcoin project. Okay, so what's next for you? Well, one, add your community to the map. Two, look to onboard merchants within your local communities, and there's been plenty on that over the last couple of hours from other people that have, do that day in, day out. We do have some resources on our wiki page that hand off to other resources on the internet in terms of guides and sticker packs and do's and don'ts. From personal experience, it really is down to the merchant you are onboarding, and it's a bit like orange pilling people. There's no single way to do it, and so it really depends on the merchant you're talking to as to the approach to be taken, and that just comes from experience, really. Become a shadowy super tagger. So as we've just seen, it's relatively easy to maintain your own data using the OpenStreetMap website, and the tags are shown, and then it's simple. You become a circular economy. So that's it from the main presentation. I will just flip over to another tab for a second. Whilst I'm doing that, we've got our handovers on socials there, so you can get those on Twitter, Nostr. We're Team BTC Map on GitHub, and then that's the invite code for our Discord. Okay, so let me stop sharing that, and I'll start sharing some other stuff. Entire. Okay, so you should be able to see a live version of the map now. Is that on?
No, not yet. You got it to work last time, so keep clicking.
Sharing the window. I can see it's up on the it's up on the screen there. Has it come up on your end yet?
No, it hasn't.
Okay, let me try that one again. Okay. Okay, that should be sharing.
No, doesn't look like it's coming up. And you click the present button at the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's no biggie if it's not coming up. I was just going to show the community map and the leaderboards. So for each of the communities, we also have a community leaderboard. The algorithm that ranks that is fairly rudimentary, so it's quite simple. It waits for recency of verification and is based upon the total number of merchants as well. So we've got lots of ideas on how that algorithm can be improved in the future, taking into account, for example, the mix of merchant types within a circular economy. So as we get more and more mature communities, then the grading will have to be done not purely based on number of merchants and how good the data is. There'll be other factors and heuristics that we can build into the ranking algo. But for now, it's pretty simple. So in terms of communities, we've got Prague as the clear leader. So if my screen ever does share, you will see there's 259 locations within Prague where you can spend Bitcoin, and 98% of those have been verified within the last 12 months. So that's a very well maintained and quite a large community, which is why currently they are top of the list. Then we've got Porto Alegre, and they 111 merchants, and they're joint second actually with Bitcoin Berlin. And I was talking to the Berlin guys recently, and I think the race is on to Pip to full second soon. And then coming up fourth, we've got Free Madeira, 100% up to date with 91 merchants. And I know they want a podium spot, so they are chasing hard right now. In terms of countries, because we have these areas that are full countries as well, so you can check these out under the areas section of the website. So currently, Czech Republic with 831 locations is top of the table. 97% of those are up to date. Brazil, a strong number 2. They actually have more locations. So Brazil currently have 954 locations, but only 93% are up to date. So with a bit of verification work there, Brazil would be the largest one, the top of the leaderboard, because they have more locations. And then coming up in third position is Portugal. So currently 202 locations, with 95% of those up to date. So yeah, just have a play around on the website. All the data's there. Get yourself added. And if you want any support, then just jump onto the Discord, and one of the team of volunteers will help you out. So happy to take any questions if people have anything.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Nathan. And
No worries.
apologies that we couldn't get those the last bit of visuals up. I'm not sure what's happening with
it. Could have been me. Don't worry about it.
With the technology, but we'll make sure to also tweet out some further links and comments about those, and hopefully include them in notes to the recording of this on YouTube as well, just to give people an additional prompt to go check those out. It's really amazing to see how the global map has evolved, how the technology has evolved, and as we were noting earlier, just from the participants joining from all around the world, this is a global movement. How critical it is to have a global map that really just enables people as they move about, as they travel, as they get a sense of other communities around the world adopting and using Bitcoin to have that global perspective. So really fascinating. I want to look into the comments here to see if you have any questions.
Just to pick up as well on your final point, I think that reinforcing nature of adoption is crucial, and so people can see other communities doing good work. Merchants can see other areas or other merchants within their areas adopting Bitcoin, and so back to one of the kind of core mission points is about normalizing Bitcoin. So I think those kind of like vortexes of self-reinforcing forces really do help. And it's a similar that the work that you're doing with the Bitcoin circular economies and the Federation. It's just making sure that those feedback loops are working kind of in unison with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not seeing any questions. I'll give folks another minute or two to type out questions, and I'll keep an eye on that. Please, in the comments section, if you have any questions for Nathan, let us know. Maybe I'll take advantage of the time to ask a couple of questions, Nathan. One is if you have any anecdotes to share about folks running Bitcoin circular economies. Any anecdotes about using the map as a tool to support onboarding merchants? I mean, just in terms of the engagement of merchants, or any particular tips from some of the contacts that you've had? So that's the first question.
Yeah.
And then the second one is, if you've noticed any distinctions between use of the map and in the engagement process for use of Bitcoin as payments, between sort of the countries of the global north in the UK, Europe, Canada, US, elsewhere, versus the global south, and if there's any distinct suggestions, recommendations that you might have for groups building out Bitcoin circular economies, in the global north versus the global south. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So I guess on the first one, it's more about kind of an orange pilling tool. So I've heard a few times now, and I've done it myself as well, that you're able with the map, with the mobile apps, is you're able to show a potential merchant the scale of global adoption, which, we're around 10,000 merchants at the moment. It's not huge in kind of a global scale of things. But when you show somebody a global map that's full of pins, that very quickly visually represents that there's stuff going on globally. So that's the first shot. And then the second shot is you zoom into wherever you are where that merchant is. And then you'll quickly get to a point where there might be one or two merchants in the near vicinity, or sometimes there's none. And so it's quite a powerful tool to then say, well, would you like to be the first or one of the first in your area, and knowing that there is this global community that's bubbling up. And so, as a merchant, there's an element of FOMO there. There's an element of there are Bitcoiners in the local community. Would you like, even if you're not a Bitcoiner yourself to begin with, would you like to get access to new customers who will prioritize spending Bitcoin in your establishment? And so I've heard that a few times, that people just flip out the map as part of the conversation when onboarding new merchants, or at least starting that onboarding conversation. And then, obviously there are differences in where you are in the world as to how to build your circular economy, and I don't profess to be an expert in the nuances between each of those. But in terms of use of BTC Map, we're not seeing kind of a hive of activity in one type of area over another, or one part of the world over another. We see hotspots in merchant adoption. So, for example, Brazil right now is adding lots of merchants. Argentina is adding lots of merchants. So we see that from the merchant side, but the actual community side, they're all over. And some of our best communities are, well, you've got Madeira in Europe, and you've got Bitcoin Berlin in El Salvador. So they're very, very different places.
Wonderful. Incredibly helpful, and we'll make sure to, again, share further follow-up about BTC Map, as well as the tools and communities from everyone who's presented today. Thanks so much for taking out time to join us for the workshop today, Nathan, and certainly much more to come over the weeks and months to come, and BTC Map is going to be a powerful tool in our in our toolbox for moving towards hyper Bitcoinization and the beautiful bright orange future that
we hope
are
so.
working towards around the world. So
now we've got
thanks
lots
for
to
all your
do.
work.
The product roadmap stretches out. There's so many ideas that we have, and yeah, just very keen to get those implemented and give the tools to the people who are actually on the ground building these economies.
Amazing. Well, excited to be part of the journey with you and with everyone else who's spoken today and who's been participating in the live stream on X or Twitter, if you still prefer to call it that, or YouTube. A reminder that this is being recorded, so please feel free to come back and take it all in again, share it with your networks. Let's build momentum. Let's build awareness of Bitcoin circular economies and the use of Bitcoin and the fact that this is happening. I know it's no news to all of you here, but it is news to the majority of the world still that Bitcoin has use cases, is being used on a daily basis around the world in communities large and small as a means of payment, and part of it is just building awareness. So please share this. A reminder that the second installment of workshops for the Bitcoin Beach grants will take place on May 22nd. All of the information about time, speakers is available on the grants page on the Geyser webpage. That is now the featured item in the on the Geyser Fund webpage. So that's easy to find, and we'll be doing a lot more promotion via X, via Noster, and other social media tools, and look forward to having people join us again for that, and to moving forward with this campaign, and ultimately to receiving all of the applications and eventually dispersing funds for this and seeing all of these amazing new circular economy projects coming to fruition over the months ahead. So thanks again, everyone, and Nathan, have a wonderful day over there. And I'll be signing us off now, and wishing you all a wonderful remainder to your day.
Let's go.
Cheers.